this industry and look at Cup guys or anyone from stock cars going to sprints, it's like, oh, are you sure about that? Because of safety issues that have existed in that series, especially a couple of years ago when Jason Leffler and Brian Clausen had their accidents. That was a big topic of discussion. Is it jarring or surprising to you that now we're in a situation where it seems like the risk of injury in stock cars has been elevated and now it's considered a major issue?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's I guess surprising to me. It's not it's not good. I feel like sprint cars, I mean, all of racing really is trended to try and make their stuff safer. And not that NASCAR didn't with this car, but it's definitely not as safe as the previous year's cars. So that's concerning, that we went backwards instead of forwards on the safety side of things. So it is a bit odd that I feel more unsafe in a Cup car than a sprint car at this point. So not good.
At that level, there's always a lot of emphasis on making sure that everyone has the right safety equipment and that guys aren't cutting corners on any equipment in that area. Is it, I guess I'm going back to jarring and surprising, but is it alarming that, you guys have all of this state-of-the-art technology as far as safety in the driver's compartment and the seats are concerned, and this kind of thing is still happening?
Yeah. I mean, I think too, if grassroots racing had the resources that NASCAR has with the money and technology and just resources in general, people in place to run as many studies as they do on every single crash, there's no doubt in my mind that sprint car racing would be even way safer than it is now. So now looking at all the resources that NASCAR does have, and we've gone backwards as far as safety concerns go, that's very concerning and a very surprising too that they saw the data and saw that rear impacts were a lot worse than the previous car, and yet we still were able we still rushed this car into production and went racing with it.
Thanks, Kyle.
Kyle, you clearly have a new teammate, at least for this weekend. Do you have a prior relationship at all with Noah?
Yeah. I mean, we work out together, and I've ran a few races for Junior Motorsports this year. So, I mean, there's not really like much work. I mean, on the racetrack there's working together, but off the racetrack before this race, without having practice and stuff, he doesn't sit through a debrief with us and things like that. So, I haven't talked to him, but just a little bit to hear what he's got the truck driver's suit on for this weekend, so that's as much talking as we've done. But I do have a relationship with him, so I'm excited to see him in the car with a great opportunity and great piece of equipment. But at the same time, very bummed that Alex has to go through what he's going through and missing a race this week.
And then in the spring here, we saw a relatively tame race for Talladega standards. I think all of Stage 3 went green. Could we see the same tomorrow?
I hope it goes. I hope the only cautions we have are for stages. So, I would love for it to be calm, but I doubt with this everything that's on the line with being a playoff race. I doubt you'll see a calm race tomorrow.
Was there a particular moment this year where you felt hurt after a crash, more hurt than you thought you would be?
No, honestly, like at Indy, I thought I would be more sore than I was, or feel the the remnants of the impact more, but I was pretty good. So I try to do as well of a job as I can with all my safety stuff and the parameters that NASCAR lets you have. Like, obviously, I feel like if it was up to me, my headrest would be a lot softer than they allow us to have. Like, my sprint car stuff is way softer than my Cup stuff. But with Cup, you have to be within SFI, tolerances, and that's way stiffer than what I feel like we should have. So, I've wrecked really hard in dirt stuff, and my head's always been good. And not that my head hasn't been good, but I know if we all had softer headrests, we would not be having head injuries and all that.
Is there anything that NASCAR can do to help relieve the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, for sure. I mean, I guess I've heard that they are developing a new rear clip that collapses more to dissipate that energy some. So that's good. I wish that it would have happened before this year, but because they have the data, they've ran the data and all that. But I mean it's good that it stinks that we have to go through drivers getting injured for changes that happen, but I am happy that they are trying to do something.
Were you involved yesterday in the Drivers Advisory Council meeting, and what were the takeaways from that?
I wasn't here personally for it, but I was listening on Microsoft Teams. So, it's just a very high-level concern and frustration, I think, from all the drivers. And, we're not engineers, so, we can't go do it, but, we can voice our, concerns and share how we feel after a crash. And it's pretty obvious, when you have two drivers here recently sitting out with head injuries. So, and then, we were able to get filled in on a little bit of the stuff that NASCAR is doing to cure, hopefully, or not cure, but make the situation better as far as safety concerns are. So, that's all good, but just a very high level of frustration, I think, with all the drivers.
How valuable is Burton as a mediator between you guys and the sanctioning body?
Yeah, I definitely think it's good to have somebody with the experience that he has driving, within the race cars, but just his overall knowledge of the sport and him being our leader to go talk to them. I think he's a perfect guy for it. So I applaud him for stepping up to take over that role, and I think NASCAR probably respects him more than 40 of us probably also coming to them at once.
There's been a few drivers, Harvick and Hamlin, kind of specifically, who've been very vocal about this publicly. Is that something you're okay with them, vocalizing this?
I am. Yeah, I am. I think there's always, I feel like we're given the narrative in the beginning of the season to say what we're supposed to say, and that only benefits NASCAR. So I think when it gets to a point now where we're all fed up, and you have two of the most experienced guys in the sport with the two biggest voices speaking out on the drivers' behalves, is good. And that's what a lot of times makes change, so or starts the process anyways. So I think it's good, and you see more drivers speaking up now, and I think a lot of the young guys, even myself, I put in that category. I'm not that outspoken because I don't feel knowledgeable enough on it, but it is important for all of us to speak out, not just a couple guys.
So safe to say that some drivers have waited, been a little more reserved for those guys like Hamlin and Harvick to speak out before they jumped in.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think, like I said, those two guys have had the most experience. They've been through multiple generations of cars. They've probably had the most hits out of all of us, and they are more apt to, their words, weigh a little heavier than some of ours, but it's good. I've enjoyed seeing Kevin be very outspoken, and I think because of him going through the things that he's gone through with fires and just dumb stuff happening, that's why I think NASCAR's been quicker to at least try and say that they're working on stuff.
With all this conversation going on, and your playoffs, obviously, how do you think the Robo's going to end up?
I don't know. The Robo will be the Robo, I guess. It's. You probably got to wait to see how this race shakes out as far as points go and things, and where drivers sit. So, with their level of aggression going to the Robo, so we'll see.
Well, I guess with all the safety concerns and the aggression that we've seen with the Robos, all the turn one incidents, do you think there's going to be a little bit more give when we get there?
No, you can't think about all that stuff while you're racing. So, no, I don't think it'll change anything.
Given where you are in points, can you afford to be a little more trepidatious
That's a
on
big
Sunday?
word. I don't even know what that means.
Can you be a little more cautious in your approach?
No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe in the early portions, I guess. But I would love to get stage points. I would love to, I always crash at the end. So I would love to get some stage points in the first couple stages to, if when that happens, I'm not as bad off in points. So I don't know. I would love to be up front the whole race like we were earlier this year, honestly.
You say when that happens? Are you just not optimistic about?
I'm not optimistic. The only thing I'm optimistic about coming here is crashing. I know it's gonna happen. So, for me, anyways, it seems. But I hope I hope I don't crash. But I've crashed here way more than I've seen the checker flag.
We see a lot of crashes, and obviously a lot of worry usually coming into this one. But I mean, is it safe to say that maybe crashes won't be as severe of an impact like we've seen with those everyday crashes? So it kind of gives you guys I don't want to say a break, but
You talking about here?
yeah. Well, the everyday.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Daniel said,
that,
yeah.
the big crashes are actually less severe regarding impacts than
They're
everyday
still severe. So you guys are crazy.
Logano said he felt safer too, like when his roof caved.
I
here and
guess
things like that with this car.
getting upside down maybe, but I mean every hit hurts. So even the big ones are still really big. Just the smaller ones are bigger. So yeah, no, I don't think that changes.
How would you compare it with your dirt racing?
With my dirt racing, I would say these cars are heavier. So like in sprint cars, you'll have, like if you flip, you'll have like a few jolts. Like this, typically if you blow right front or something, it's one really big hit. And then now backing in seems to be, one even bigger hit. But then like you come here and you're getting, a wreck here would be more similar, probably more violent than a sprint car, just because you have usually one really big hit, and then you might have a few other really big hits, getting hit by other people coming in the wrecks. So, yeah, I don't know. Wrecking doesn't feel good in anything, but I feel like wrecking in a wing sprint car, as long as you don't land flat on the frame rails, is not too bad.
Do you have enough time to tell yourself in a crash to get your head back, or is that not a reasonable solution?
I don't think that should be a solution.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check one of those 2 videos out that we have right beside you. Visit Frontstretch.com for more great content.